Okay, guys. Hey, I'm new on the YouTube scene, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about First Amendment audits. And you've got several out here that actually do the audits, and you've got Flex Your Freedoms. I mean, if you look at the views, there's 1.4K here. This is on 11 hours ago. He's got 1 million or 1.5 million viewers on his deal. And we move on, and there's a couple of them that's come up. Used to be News Now, Patrick. I think he calls himself Patrick. We'll get into him just a little bit. And then you've got News Now Community, which would have been News Now Houston at one point. I couldn't imagine why they needed to change the names, but anyway, the Audit, 376K. This guy, all he's doing is he's auditing the auditor and seeing how the auditor did versus the police. So, a lot of my videos coming forward are going to be more about, defunding the police and what really needs to be done. But that's for another video. It won't happen in this video. But anyway, as you can see, there's Lackluster. He's been around for a while. 219K. Audit the Audit. Look here, 8.8 million. Audit the Auditor. All he's doing is he's taking video or footage or content that some other auditor's done, and he's driving people to watch his videos. What you have noticed is the actual auditor isn't getting near the attention that they used to get. And I'm going to go into a little bit about why that happens. Audit the Auditor, he does his research. He's set up good with his video. His content's good. He's got everything to back up everything he says. And there's a lot of times he's for the auditor as well, but for the most part, he looks at the whole thing and he sees who's right and who's wrong. And he gets, like, there's 1.2 million views on some of his. If you'll notice there, Know Your Rights, 44K, he's not getting much attention. We can go on, Johnny 5-0, he's been around a while. You notice his ain't, if we go back to the Audit the Auditor, and we look at his 1.2 million and 3.4 million or 2.2 million on different videos, you see that people are losing interest in the audits. And we'll get into why here in just a minute. And I'm going to try to make this brief. 13K here. Here's News Now Community, 106K. And that's 4 months ago. Obviously, I've watched this. To give you a little insight about David, David actually does the audits the way they should be done. He doesn't get nervous. If they violate his rights, he tells them to take him to jail. He don't argue. He don't fight. News Now first, see, they use all this News Now stuff. James Freeman's another one, does a really good job. 292K, he does a pretty good job of auditing. He's had a little bit of bad luck over the last few audits, and actually they weren't audits, they were just, he went live. One of them was with his, I believe his camper was parked on land that wasn't marked, and they told him to move, and it escalated into something that it shouldn't have escalated into. And he ended up being detained and handcuffed and broke his camera and everything. So, but James Freeman, he's closer to what you want on an audit. But I mean, we can go through this and we can be here all day. But the bottom line is we'll go over why. And I want to start with Patrick. Patrick's a young kid. I don't know what his intentions are. All I know is he's always saying de-escalate, de-escalate, de-escalate in his video, but yet he doesn't de-escalate. And I'm not the only viewer that's seen this or witnessed this in his content. He's continually pissing the police officers off, trying to do his best to piss them off. He can't shut up. Where James Freeman knows where he knows about as far as he can go with it. For example, David with News Now Community, he knows where to cut it off at. Even when Patrick's running around with David, he's still doing the same thing. He's escalating. He's not de-escalating, he's escalating. He's trying to piss them off. And I don't know if he thinks that's getting him more views, and I assure you it's not. As you can plainly see, most of the Audit the Auditor is getting way more views than the actual auditors going out and pissing the police off on purpose. The one thing that I haven't seen that much is the auditors don't go out and audit, and maybe they don't know where they're at, and that's something that it's a question that I have for them, but they don't actually go out and audit. Anytime you have roadblocks set up or DUI checkpoints or safety checkpoints or any of that stuff, that's unconstitutional stuff. Always has been, always will be, and the police get away with it because nobody does anything about it. But you never see auditors doing that. That's something that the auditors need to find out where they're at, when they're at, and go through them and see what happens. You're going to have bad police everywhere, and I get that. But instead of defunding the police, we need to educate them, and it ain't we, the auditors that are on YouTube, that needs to educate them. They need to be educated through training, experience, or let's say you've got a 20-year vet officer, he needs to be talking to the young rookies and teaching them what they need to be doing or what they don't. But anyway, I'm going to end this. I've got more videos to come. Pay attention, because there's more to come. I'm fixing to dissect this whole thing. Patrick, slow down, because you're killing yourself as far as views. Nobody cares.